I would now, are we live, Joey and Brian? For all the many viewers at home, I want to make sure we are. We are live, great. I would now like to call to order the January 11th, 2023 meeting of the Indiana State Board of Education. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bass. Here. Ms. DeLosa.
Here.
Mr. Durham.
Present.
Dr. Ernest. Here. Mr. Gastineau.
Here.
Ms. Hamill.
Here.
Mr. Mapes.
Here.
Ms. Moat.
Here.
Ms. Runchler.
Here.
Mr. Watts.
Here.
Dr. Jenner.
Here. Thank you. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the December board meeting?
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. So welcome back. It's 2023. We're honestly coming in this year with a lot of energy and enthusiasm in the education space. If you've followed along, we kick off the legislative budget session, which of course is a really, really important session for us in education. Our state budget, we are very thankful. About half of that is focused on doing everything we can to educate the future of our state and supporting our teachers and ultimately impacting our students. So I wanted to highlight just a few things that the governor has announced. As you know, what happens in the process is the governor always comes out first, says, here are my priorities, here is my budget. Then it goes to the House, and then towards the end of session, the second half, I should say, it then goes to Senate, that budget. So this is truly the start of the process, but a few things that the governor launched with, and so appreciate that education is a top priority for him, in addition to public health. So he's asked for an increase in tuition support. Year 1, 6%. Year 2, an additional 2% on top of that 6%. That would, by the way, be the largest historic increase in the state's history. He's asked for several different pieces on literacy. One is a local incentive for improving student literacy. We as a board and a state affirmed 95% by 2027, and we must do everything we can to get to that place. Thirdly, free textbooks for students and families. There will be a lot of different bills that are symbolic on the textbook front from both sides of the aisle. If I've already been asked, I had an early morning call this morning. That language of what the governor is specifically requesting is laid out in the budget bill. If people ask you, it's actually laid out. His request is in the budget bill. He's talked about supporting STEM education, prioritizing school safety, expanding access to high-quality early learning opportunities, including the modernization of paths to quality, auto-enrolling 21st century scholar students, and then so much more. There's more in the press release that I know that we have shared and are glad to get you more details. Also, since we last met, we launched the first iteration of the Indiana GPS that launched on Monday, December 12th. The second iteration of the Indiana GPS, which the board previewed actually at the December meeting, an early preview, launches Tuesday, January 17th. And that just gets into more detail about student population, longitudinal data for our various indicators. We will have more updates on the GPS to come. Likely we'll have Jason Callahan and team in the February meeting to give another round of updates. Also, just before the new year, we announced the 2022 graduation rates. We're at 86.61% of the students in class of 2022 graduated. We did see increases specifically for our Black students, Hispanic students, English learner students, special ed students, and students receiving free reduced lunch meals. And one of the points that we're also pleased to see is we saw the non-waiver graduation rate improve. So meaning, right, we had more students who graduated with a diploma and not a waiver. So that was also positive. On that point, I'll open it up for any other board member comments or reports. Yes, Byron.
I'd just like to give a kudos on the GPS, having now with a lot of the schools that I work with, where I work with their PLCs and things, are actually in some of the versions that were sent out. Principals were working with them with the data. It's been interesting. It's been so great and for them to be looking at multiple data points as opposed to one. And I think that's becoming a culture piece now, because I came to Brian with a bunch of questions about how some of the data was that we maybe hadn't thought about. But I just think that's a huge positive, that how we're now able to look at, we're not just looking at a single thing, we're looking at the whole child, right? That just goes to that whole, I think the GPS gets us even closer to really looking at the whole child. So I just wanted to give that kudos in having been out there in schools where that's being used, and the teachers are really saying they really like that. So wanted to give that
Thank
feedback.
you, Dr. Ernest. Pat?
I would just like to recognize the facility directors and the maintenance staff of the school corporations across the state. I know we had 9 pipe bursts over the holiday that actually our people were working Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and I'm certain we're not alone in that area. You know, we always focus, it seems like, on teachers and administrators. There's a whole bunch of people that make this happen, and we're ready to go when the first day of school because of the work they did over a holiday.
Thank you for saying that. You're right. When you have temperatures as frigid as we saw across the state of Indiana, you're bound to have some potential issues, and we did see that in different spots across the state. Many of the school corporations have reached directly out to us, so we are aware of some. May not be aware of all, but I appreciate you bringing that up. It takes a village.
That's correct.
It takes a village. Any other board comments or reports? Seeing none, we'll move to public comment. Kendra Johnson.
Good morning to each and every one of you. Happy
Morning.
2023. I hate the fact that you can only speak on one issue during the meeting, because previously the school city of Hammond presented a program involving partnershiping with the JROTC. And I have strongly been a supporter of the JROTC. I have 6 children, 2 girls, 4 boys, and I encouraged every last one of them to be involved in it. My oldest daughter took 3 years of JROTC, and right now she works for TSA in Chicago, Illinois. And the training she received is something that she utilizes almost every single day on her job. Well, believe it or not, a few days after that was presented at this meeting, there was an article on yahoo.com talking about how some schools was making it mandatory to take JROTC and how many people were in opposition of it. So for us to be hearing such a proposal shows that we are on the pulse of what the nation is looking at and being interested in. And honestly, I would encourage every student to take JROTC. And if not JROTC, if not JROTC, then a program that uses the same principles that are taught: leadership, camaraderie, self-discipline. Because in this world, in this day and time, that is something we're going to need. We're going to have to learn how to get along with each other, work with each other. We're going to have to learn when to step up in leadership positions and when at times to step back and let someone else lead. But with 2023 upon us, now it's time to look at the money that it takes to fund these programs and to support them. Look at the ones in the past and what they have done. Look at the ones that didn't succeed and why they did. Because our children are depending on us. And when I say our children, I don't care if you don't have any. The children of this state are our children and our responsibility. The phrase is, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the phrase I'm known for saying is, if you don't like the village you're in, create your own for the success of your child. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. We'll now have Hannah Carlock of the Arc of Indiana.
Good morning. I am Hannah Carlock with the Arc of Indiana, and I am here regarding your consent agenda item approving the final rule for the alternate diploma. In this meeting, we have some of the most highly educated people in the state leading our Hoosier schools. Some of you even have doctorates, which I know is no small feat to accomplish. However, there are some Hoosier students that even earning a high school diploma is difficult and difficult to accomplish. And some of them even walk away with only a certificate of completion. Then they try to get a job and they cannot mark that they don't have a diploma on their job application, which usually takes them out of the running for most jobs. I want to thank Dr. Jenner and her team for working tirelessly through the rulemaking process, which is not easy to do, for your consideration to approve this alternate diploma today. This diploma not only gives Hoosier students the opportunity to earn a high school diploma, but they will be able to mark that they have a high school diploma on future job applications that could lead to better paying jobs, a career ladder, and a brighter future. So thank you for your work, time, and consideration on the alternate diploma.
Thank you, Hannah. At this time, that concludes public comments. At this time, we'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
With a motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We also have 1 point of new business today, student versus Monroe County Community School Corporation, SBOE 0609 2021. So I'd like to ask for a motion.
Secretary Jenner, if I could, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I believe every board member has a copy of this final order in front of them. Having reviewed the hearing examiner's proposed determination, the record, the petitioner's objections to the proposed determination, and having held a hearing on the matter, I move that the board adopt the final order which grants the petitioner's appeal effective immediately. The petitioner shall be allowed to attend school in Bloomington North High School for the remainder of the 22-23 school year and dissolves the hearing examiner's proposed determination.
We have a motion on the table.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? We'll let pause. Any discussion? And we take it by roll call. So, roll call, Chad. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bess.
Aye.
Ms. DeLosa.
Yes.
Mr. Durham.
Yes.
Dr. Ernest.
Yes.
Mr. Gastineau.
Yes.
Ms. Hamill.
Yes.
Mr. Mapes.
Yes.
Ms. Moat.
Yes.
Ms. Rentschler.
Yes.
Mr. Watts.
Yes.
Dr. Jenner.
Yes.
Final order has been adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask for, this is the fastest we've done this in a long time, by the way. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn our January 2023 board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is concluded. Thank you. We'll see you in February.